Do soft drinks shorten your life? Yes, but I'm going to help you quit. Welcome to 9 Minutes to Better Health, a podcast series that breaks down real science for you to use in your daily life. G'day, I'm Dr. Nick Fuller. I'm an obesity expert from the University of Sydney and Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. In my 15 years in the field, I've seen, heard and helped people from every demographic. And I've seen, heard and observed every fad diet and weight loss diet that exists. And here's the thing, they all work short term, but then the weight comes back. The truth about obesity is it's a multifaceted problem. And on 9 Minutes to Better Health, I'm going to arm you with the science that you can use every day to answer important questions. Each podcast I will tackle the latest research on interesting health and wellness subjects. I'll chat about topics like, what supplements work best for weight loss? Will coffee speed up your metabolism? Or today's topic, will soft drink kill you? First, I have a little experiment I want you to do. Go to your cupboard, grab a glass and get out the sugar. Then measure out 10 teaspoons of sugar. This is how much a can of soft drink contains. But then add another 6 teaspoons. Now this is the amount in a 600ml bottle. And according to the numbers, it's how much we're drinking every day. Now this is the average, which means some of us aren't drinking any soft drink. And of course others are drinking far more than this amount. But what actually is it? A soft drink is a drink that usually contains water. About 90% of it is water, and it's often carbonated, giving it that fizz or bubbles. But it's also going to include a sweetener and a natural or artificial flavouring. The sweetener could be a sugar, a high fructose corn syrup, fruit juice, or a sugar substitute in the case of diet drinks. But soft drinks can also contain caffeine, colouring, preservatives and other ingredients. The brief answer. Sorry to tell you fizzy drink fiends, it is going to kill you. But here's the thing. It may not be the drink itself that's going to send you to an early grave. Let's check out why that's the case. And make sure to stick around to the end, as I've got some practical tips for you or someone you know that indulges in too much soft drink. There are a lot of studies looking at the health risks with soft drink consumption, and when it comes to this topic, there's pretty much overwhelming support to say that soft drinks are bad for us. That is, most studies say that they increase your risk of dying early. These studies aren't perfect, but the research is still pretty good, and it's very consistent. I'm going to talk about a few of these studies that you'll find in the show notes. First, let's look at two of the largest observational studies ever conducted, the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study and the Nurses' Health Study. That includes a few 100,000 people. This large group of people are followed up over decades, and regular questionnaires are administered to assess their health, diet and lifestyle factors. And guess what? Those drinking more soft drink, both the sugar-sweetened and the diet variety, die earlier from heart disease than those who rarely drink it. And it's the same grim outcome for cancer. If you drink regular sugar-filled soft drink, you're more likely to die from cancer. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How much of this stuff can we drink before it becomes a problem? To answer this, I've dug up a study published in the journal Circulation, with over 100,000 people followed up over 30 years. And in this study, they concluded that a can of soft drink a day raised the risk of death by 7%, the risk of cancer by 5%, and the risk of heart disease by 10%. And the more these people drank, the earlier they died. You have to keep in mind, though, that these results do vary from study to study. Another publication I reviewed in JAMA Internal Medicine, with nearly 500,000 people across 10 European countries, well, in this one, 2 glasses per day of these drinks, whether they were the regular variety or the diet drinks, raised the risk of dying early by 17%. And this is compared to those who sip on them less than once a month. So to put this into perspective, if you're 50 and drink the average 500 to 600 mils of soft drink per day, using very crude calculations, you could have just wiped 8.5 years off your life. Pretty serious stuff. The results are similar if we go back to the earlier Health Professionals Follow-Up Study I discussed. These researchers showed that 2 or more per day was associated with a 21% higher risk of dying early, compared with those who were sipping on soft drink less than once per month. Now, the interesting thing from this study was that replacing soft drink with artificially sweetened beverages did lower their risk of dying early. So for my patients asking whether diet soft drinks are better, well, potentially. This large study did suggest that diet drinks may be a useful replacement for regular soft drink, but the ultimate goal is, of course, switching to water, which I'll get into later. So what are the limitations? Even though these studies contain large amounts of people, they are not controlled studies. The findings do not show a cause, but rather an association. For example, as they are following up a group of people over time and assessing different behaviours with outcomes, they can say that one thing was associated with another, but they cannot say it caused it. As the studies are also observational, it does rely on people's memory and recall, which can also be problematic, as you can imagine. Think of detailing your food and drink intake every day. It's quite onerous and it's quite hard to do. In addition, there are lots of what we call confounding factors. For example, people drinking more soft drink may also be eating more fast food or have a poor diet in general. It can be very hard to control for a lot of these confounding factors, and therefore we can't truly say that it was a soft drink that killed people prematurely. It's also impossible to know whether the results are due to reverse causation. Now this is interesting because you might have people drinking diet soft drink because they're already overweight, and there's many health problems that stem from the excess weight they are carrying. What is the take-home message? By itself, sugar is not going to kill you. But as we found out, sugary drinks are energy-dense and nutrient-poor. Regular consumption will lead to an unhealthy diet and weight gain, and anything that leads to weight gain increases your risk of disease such as heart attack, type 2 diabetes and cancer. So it's unlikely the soft drink itself is killing you, but instead it's the poor diet choices you are making. There are also the ingredients themselves that might come into play. There is evidence to show that artificial sweeteners can increase our hunger and leave us wanting more. Now that's because inside your brain's reward centres, sweet sensation is integrated with energy content. So what I mean by that is that when sweetness versus energy is out of balance for a period, the brain actually tells you to eat more sweet foods. Diet soft drinks are 300 to 500 times sweeter than sugar, but your brain simply doesn't recognise it. So what this means is you will go and seek something sweet even if you've just had a calorie-free, artificially sweetened soft drink. We evolved to seek out sweet, high-calorie foods during our ancestors' time, so it's important to include them in our diet, but we need to be getting them from nature's treats that are naturally high in sugar, like fruits. Bottom line, indulge in these drinks no more than once a month. The occasional soft drink won't kill you, but the daily soft drink will, as it makes it harder for you to follow a healthy diet, and it also makes it harder for you to lose or maintain a healthy weight. So what are some tips for those that are hooked on soft drink? Firstly, check out the show notes for extra help. Going cold turkey isn't going to work. You will be able to cut them out for a few days or a few weeks, but eventually you'll have a soft drink, and then you'll say, what the hell? And the old habits will creep back in, much like a diet. First, make the switch to diet drinks initially. It's going to improve your health, maybe only slightly, but it's a good first starting point. Secondly, you then need to wean yourself off the diet soft drink and start incorporating more water, fat-free or low-fat milk into your diet. So for example, if you currently drink 10 cans of soft drink a week, work towards 5 before eventually having them just once a month. Lastly, if you don't like water, try infusing it with fruit or some lemon or lime juice, or include herbal teas to improve your hydration. That's all for today, so please give us a like and share with others if you're enjoying the content, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast to stay updated. The information provided in this podcast is for educational purposes only. It does not substitute professional medical advice or consultations with healthcare professionals.